Well, here's something to think about. As kids take on a lot of summer activities this season, like basketball and baseball and other sports, do you tell them to stick with it? Or what if they'd like to give up on a sport? Do you let them do that? According to some new studies, kids may be getting mixed messages that could turn them off of sports for a long time to come. Joining us now is Dr. Belisa Vranich, who is a child psychologist with Gold's Gym Fitness Institute. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So I know a lot of parents are watching right now, and they're going to be very interested in hearing your answer to this, because every once in a while, kids sign up for activities, whether it's sports related or piano lessons even. They do it for a while, and then they decide, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. If your child wants to quit, do you let them?
You have a long conversation with them about why they'd like to quit, and then you do let them change their minds. That's something that they can do. And, you know, I tell parents all the time, sometimes your kid wants to stop the activity because they are having a problem with someone on the team. Sometimes it's the coach. Sometimes they're just not good at it, and they really just don't like the going out there and doing a bad job. So having the conversation before you let them change their mind and hopefully go on to another activity is really important.
You know, a lot of parents sort of superimpose their own feelings on their kids, and I bet there are a lot of parents out there who feel like, well, if my kid quits, it doesn't reflect poorly, it reflects poorly on me. And that's only natural, right?
Yeah, parents will do that all the time. Well, they'll say, I stopped sports, or I wish I would have continued. So they really personalize the situation way too much. I ask them to check in on themselves. Did you stop doing a sport? Did you stop doing a job? Have you done something in your adult life where you wish you would have been more persistent and more determined? Don't put that pressure on your kid. Let them change and let them try a lot of different sports.
What if a parent, though, decides that they're not going to let their child quit under any circumstances, that they don't want to teach their child a lesson, you know, that it's okay to give up when you've made a commitment to your teammates, you've made a commitment to, you know, to do something, and you should see it through, and the answer is absolutely not, you're not going to quit. What kind of harm could that do to your child?
Well, it depends where it is in the season. Because I do work with a lot of parents and a lot of kids very closely, I look to see, is there 2 weeks left, or is it an entire 3 or 4 months of summer that you still have to get through? So if it is a short amount of time, stick with it. See it till the end of the season. Go through it with your teammates. Try to figure out why you don't like your coach, whatever it is. So if it's a short amount of time, stick with it. But if it's going to be 3 months every day of putting your parents through a lot of angst, maybe better think it over.
You know, you mentioned the coach. I'm wondering what role a coach can play in all of this, because, you know, I know from having played team sports that there are times when a coach will sort of try to motivate a team by saying, you want to quit, go and quit, you know, and they're using that kind of a language. They can be a little bit belligerent at times, but again, it's all to sort of try to motivate a team. Is it ever appropriate for a parent to pull a coach aside and say, you know, that kind of approach, it may work with some kids, but it's not working with mine?
Well, it depends if they're picking on your kid. And usually coaches are really sensitive about that. If they're trying to get the team to rally against another team or just to fight harder, I've seen them have that kind of approach. And it's not the best all the time, but it does instill a sense of unity in the team. So even if your kid is having a hard time with that sort of encouragement, they can still feel like they're part of something with their friends and that they're trying hard and really putting forth a big effort. So if it's just your kid that you feel is getting picked on, it's okay to pull the coach aside. If it's their way of training, then I would let them do the job they are going to do.
Dr. Belisa Vranich is a child psychologist with Gold's Gym Fitness Institute. Thanks so much for joining us. Very interesting advice.
A celebration of royal proportions in Stockholm today.